So now that you've lived in two like different places, I mean, have you considered, everyone's trying to like leave California or go other places. Have you considered that, like moving to another place or a different city, or living less, even
Um,
far less than what you have now?
yeah, well, I mean, you've traveled outside of the United States in different countries, whether it's Canada, Spain, I think it was France as well. You
England,
obviously go to Mexico,
Iceland,
England.
Italy,
Yeah,
keep going.
you got to different countries, right? But in order to move a different country, you need a visa. You need opportunities. There's got to be a different way for you to get out of the country, right? You can move within our country, United States, a lot easier, 100% a lot easier. You just pick up and go and see if it works. If it doesn't, right? Hopefully, you have a place to come back to, kind of thing, right? Or you make it sink or swim sort of situation. Well, I've been to Texas, been in Colorado, been to Florida, been to Washington, Oregon, you name it, Nevada, Utah. We've been to plenty of different cities, right? The cities, I was going to say the whole state because I haven't seen the whole state, right? Going to say, well, this area is better than the other area, right?
Right.
But we've been in New York, you name it. Um, Moving out of California, I don't know that that's the best thing. I mean, you got to understand, California actually has the best food, that you can possibly grab, not just because it's a West Coast thing versus East Coast sort of thing, or barbecue situations, whatever it is, what kind of, specialties, but it really comes down to the availability of the food, right? We had the availability of avocados year round somehow. We have the availability of bananas year round somehow. We have the availability of
Yeah.
berries, of vegetables, anything that you can think of that you're gonna make, you can make do right here in
Yeah.
California year round. No matter what you come up, you look on the internet, you find a recipe, you just pick it up and go. Right. Other places, again, when it comes down to us traveling and so forth, trying different foods and so forth. We went to Texas. We same restaurant it was in Palo Alto that we tried when we lived in the Bay Area to one that was in Texas because we knew the restaurant. We're like, oh, this is really good food. It was a lot saltier. Now that could have just been the taste difference or that day, whatever it is. But we realized other places in Texas that we were eating in multiple cities was a little bit saltier. Now we don't know if that was just basically the food, that we were eating over there versus the food we eat at home kind of thing situation. But there was a lot more meat products when it comes down to when you go into the southern states and so forth. So there's a lot more meat products and a lot less vegetables, right? But we're here in California, the whole California American meal cuisine situation is a lot of vegetables. The avocado toast BS, right? The whole situation where you get a lot of different foods that were there, right?
Oh.
People are going to complain about taxes as well. You're going to get taxed regardless where you go, depending on what you do, right? I
Yeah,
mean, yes, let's say Oregon,
it all evens out, with the taxes thing and all that. Because
it all evens out, right?
but with the food thing you were saying real quick, like I remember and it was weird, but I was at a McDonald's. I forgot where it was, and they had like this big
Okay,
poster like on the wall, and it pretty much showed the Big Mac. I know we're talking about the Big Mac. I know we're talking about McDonald's, but the Big Mac, everything on the Big
sure,
Mac was
yeah,
made in California. Like everything on the Big Mac in McDonald's in California, like everything, like the meat was from California. They even told you like which ranch it was. The bread, they told you what bakery it was, right? And obviously the grain as well, right? And the flour and all that. And then they had
yeah.
the sauce, where the sauce was made. It was like in LA in some place. And then the cheese was obviously dairy from here. So like even like a fast food restaurant that's like not good for you, even all of their product is from California. So like, and that's why like
California,
the issue with like I remember like Chipotle, everybody wanted Chipotle's to be where they were, In and Outs too. They don't put those places if they can't
mm-hmm.
have the fresh food every day, right? So like that's why In and Out
Yeah,
in random places,
correct, yeah.
and they're barely moving like to Texas, they're barely moving around like Nevada and all that stuff, because it has to be where they can grab as much fresh food as they can, right? Because their whole thing is that they don't have frozen beef and all that, right? So they got to make sure like
They don't freeze meat, etc. Yeah,
right. So that's why like In and Out had this thing, like even Chipotle too was like we cannot have one where we can't have access to everything that we put in the on the menu, which is like kids don't. I talk to kids all the time.
yeah,
Hey, farm, it's a farm, farm to was it farm to fork capital, of the world, and
farm to
it
fork
really is
capital of the
like
United States.
right, we it really is like we can have our own meals. Like you said, everything is grown here. You can make any meal you could think of. Like you said, even if it comes to like sushi, you know, the fish in the Pacific, everything, like every single meal can be made, with food here. Obviously, I'm being
With the here in
very
California.
generic. I mean, sorry, I'm speaking very general, but I'm talking about most foods that we eat can consume can be made from food that's here. Most food, and
Correct.
I think that's just a
Oh
lot.
yeah,
Like
and
you
then,
said, I
then
think
when
that's a lot.
it, when
Like
it
we
comes
have
to
the
like
weather. California has the weather. We have the agriculture, right? people complain about like they want to find anything, right? So people complain about the taxes.